I'm Dr. Lindsey Doe, clinical sexologist and host of the sex-curious show, Sexplanations. 3 quick reminders, then I'll answer some of your sex questions. Number 1, there's a Sexplanations podcast that comes out each week for your commute to work or school or whenever you want to give it a listen, for your listening pleasure. Number 2, I try to avoid buying things that I don't need and then all the wasteful shipping materials, but if I'm going to get dressed and express myself, then I'm going to sex educate the planet too. Sex education apparel. Number 3, I was able to make this video because people, most of whom are strangers to me, support us on patreon.com/sexplanations. Call them sexplanauts. They make this possible. So if you're a fan, please help me fill up the comment section with thank yous for them. Okay, questions time. What are some of your favorite slangs for having sex? I like shoveling out, feeding Paco, cocking, trimming, and warming each other up. I also appreciate tossing the salad and scissoring for the visual effect. I would like to know what happens to the nutsack with age, like what happens to nuts after puberty onwards. The nutsack, or scrotum, like the labia majora, tends to sag with age. They develop from the same embryonic tissue, and over time the skin loses collagen, which can make them looser and more wobbly. Also with age, the cremaster muscles that hold the testicles' temperature by lifting or relaxing the scrotum, they tend to weaken. So they'll be able to raise and lower the balls, just not as athletically. The balls, or testicles, inside the scrotum typically decrease in size as you get older. This is called testicular atrophy. Fewer cells, fewer sperm, less testosterone, smaller testes. How can bi and pan people limit dysphoria in straight passing relationships? Use they, their pronouns when talking about partners. My partner rather than boyfriend or girlfriend, or my spouse rather than my husband or wife. They dress in ways that intentionally signal queerness. Not that you can determine someone's orientation or gender identity by their clothing, but there are social cues people can use. Colors of the bi flag, colors of the pan flag, pins made by friends. Bring up being bi in conversation. Make bi and pan friends who affirm your belonging and positively reinforce allies. Will you do a video on swinging? Clip of how to use the sex swing video. Just kidding. Yes, swinging video. I'll do one. Curious to know what your thoughts are on boric acid becoming a treatment for vaginal pH and infections. There's a company that makes boric acid suppositories who wants to sponsor Sexplanations, but because I can't find any strong research that assures that such a promotion isn't harmful, I haven't accepted. And I'm frustrated that there's so much money and so much technology in this world, and yet people are starving, abortion isn't universally accessible, and all of my sexual curiosities like what's the deal with boric acid aren't resolved. What should I say to someone who thinks sex ed shouldn't be taught in schools? I've found that asking them what their sex ed was like is a good starting point. If they received great sex ed outside of school, I simply explain that not all children are that fortunate, just like not all children would get to eat if there wasn't school lunches. I would enthusiastically say, I'm so grateful that schools exist as a place where everyone can access knowledge that prepares them to succeed. And I would continue, I'm so disappointed when I hear stories about places where sex is taboo so no one talks about it, and then the rates of unintended pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections and relationship violence are astronomical. More than likely, they actually got some sort of shitty sex ed at home and at school, and in this case, I can usually find ways to highlight the sexual struggles that they had because they lacked a proper sex education, and then say, is that what they want for the next generation? Also, and this is a part that I don't say, what makes them an expert on what should and shouldn't be taught in schools? I'm the expert. It should be taught in schools. Is Nofap beneficial? For those of you who don't know, Nofap is a social movement to abstain from masturbation. Nofap. I've talked a lot about the benefits of masturbation. Big fan. There are also benefits to not fapping. A stronger sense of self-discipline, a reset or recharge of the body's physiology, time for reflection. How does masturbation serve me? How does it not serve me? Abstaining can boost libido. It can enhance future performance, alter your mental state. It can boost sexual tension, give you time for your body to rest and heal if you're all chafed from stroking it. No fap. Heal those blisters, then get yourself lube. There's research both ways for prostate cancer and erectile dysfunction, etc. So my take is, you decide for your body. And if that feels overwhelming, ask a professional for guidance. Urologist, gynecologist. What do you think about the nulo-nutwa community who get surgery to remove their genitalia so it's just a patch of smooth, stimulatable skin with their urethra left just as a hole further back towards the butt? It makes sense. Body alterations are long-standing human practices, including smoothies, neck elongation, cochlear implants, tattoos, braces. I wish we could all be happy with our bodies just the way they are, but we're not. We are designed to change, to express ourselves as we change, and we go to great lengths to improve our well-beings. I'm just glad that there are hygienic, safe, and more comfortable ways to manage these alterations. If nudist A has an STI that can be transmitted via bodily fluids, and some fluid got on a spot where they sat while naked, and then nudist B sits there also naked right after, can nudist B get nudist A's STI? It depends on the STI. Some sexually transmitted infections are passed through body fluids like vaginal fluid or semen. Sure. Some can go from a person to an object to another person, more likely an object that's soft and moist, more porous, less likely a bench. But gosh, viruses mutate to survive, bodies leak, also hygiene. This is why STI prevention includes not sharing toys or condoms, getting tested, and communicating about your risks. Stay curious. Thank you, Sexplanauts, for making this show possible. You mean so much to me. I hope you're enjoying Sexplanations videos, podcasts, and merch. It's all for you. Te quiero. Patreon.com/Sexplanations.